Religion, Marx argues, is an inverted, that's why you think of the word inverted, it's an inverted representation of the actual suffering. It's very similar to this one. Because in real life I suffer, I need to produce my Olympian or Christian, it doesn't matter, gods, where I will not be suffering. So therefore, and Marx continues, therefore religion is an index, and he uses also the metaphor, the halo of the suffering. It's an index to the suffering. It's not something that makes you suffer. It's a coded form to express your suffering. And even the mere fact that he uses of all possible metaphors, opium, it's the opium of the people. To say something is the opium of the people, opium, the function of opium is not just to make you dumb. Edgar Allan Poe wrote everything under the influence of opium, and he was not dumb. It means opium is something whose effect is not to make you dumb. Yes, it makes you look at the world in a way that does not normally appear, and yet what you see is precisely an underside of the world. It's another way of seeing the world through a certain perspective that you cannot have sober. That's not true of any drug, but opium has this function. So when he says it's the opium of the people, it doesn't simply mean you don't see anything, you are in fantasies. No. You look at the world from a way that presents the inverted structure of the suffering. So all these are famous misunderstandings. And to return to the question, so what is the function of art for Nietzsche? It's not enough to say, well, the function of art is to produce the illusion of the one. We need to say more. What is the function of art? Yes?
Well, on the page, at the bottom of page 230 in the first column, it says that art approaches as the same sources.
Sorry, wait. It's 230, left column.
Left column, last paragraph.
Here went the danger.
To as well as greatest, art approaches as the same sorceress, expert at healing. She alone knows how to turn these nauseous thoughts about the horror or absurdity of existence into notions with which one can live.
Good, good. Okay, in order to arrive to this, he returns back to Silenus. Let's spell that out. Do you remember what was the story of Silenus? Silinos is actually in Greek. Here they translate it Silenus. So do you remember he referred to that very early on? What was the story? Yeah. So.
Like King Midas was hunting him down, and once he got him, he asked, like, what was the greatest, the most desirable things of all men, and he says, you do not wish to hear what is best of all is utterly beyond your reach, not to be born, not to be nothing, but the second best for you is to die soon.
And for you, meaning not only you, King Midas or Midas or whatever you pronounce it, for humanity altogether. Silenus himself is not, he's a semi-god, therefore he's immortal. Okay? So he says the best possible thing for humans is to never have existed, which is exactly what oneness is. You don't exist. Okay. This is the best possible thing. Given that you exist in here, the best possible thing for you is to die. So he returns now later on page 230 where Camille just read, and he says, let's start, in fact, left column again, 5 lines before Camille started. Conscious of the truth, he has one scene. Great, can you read? Oh, it's okay. Ariana, can you read?
The left side of 130. Oh, conscious of the truth, he has once, sorry.
Yeah.
Conscious of the truth he has once seen, man now sees everywhere only the horror or absurdity of existence. Now he understands what is symbolic in Ophelia's fate. Now he understands the wisdom of the Sylvan god, Silenus. He is nauseated.
So, his argument is that the Greeks were so, and for the same matter, by the same token, the secularized humanity have penetrated enough in history and in nature to know that everything is suffering. Okay, to be conscious of the world is to understand that the world is suffering and could only enunciate, which is the perspective from which Silenus speaks in there to already say you. The best thing is not to have existed, is exactly that. You're already enunciated about empirical existence, okay? So the reasonable conclusion, if we didn't have imaginary, which is to say if we didn't have these urges, all we would do would be, oops, is this how the world is? I better go and commit suicide. That's it. There is no continuation, okay? If we manage, nevertheless, to continue, is because this drives us. So this illusion is the real thing. That's why I say let's not reduce it just to an illusion. So it's the illusion, parenthesis to return to Hegel, when Hegel speaks of the appearance of appearance, the common misunderstanding, including Zizek misunderstands him in that, is that at best, which is Zizek's reading, at best they understand that this means, appearance, qua appearance means that all there is appearance. That's not what Hegel says. Just like Nietzsche does not say all there is the empirical reality in which we suffer. In addition to that, there is this thing which is nowhere, but yet this is the driving force. And that's exactly what Hegel means. When he says appearance as appearance, he means an appearance, as Nietzsche puts it, on the second power. An appearance that through its redoubling becomes even more real than the appearance. You see the ambivalence of the word appearance. Appearance means both what appears to me, you are the appearance in front of me. But appearance means also fantasy, illusion, something that is not real. And that's the point, that when he says appearance, qua appearance, in the first case, the appearance has the meaning, actually it has the meaning of both what appears and what is illusion. On the second level, when it's raised on the second level, in fact it's in a sense exactly the opposite. It's what does not appear, it's never given in reality, and it's no longer an illusion, it becomes your absolute truth. That's what it really drives you. It's inverted to its opposite. So the same here, to return to Sam's statement, the function of art according, or the reason why humans want art, according to Nietzsche, is that they are driven by illusion, in the simple sense of the word illusion. They are driven by an illusion, which, however, is grounded itself on the non-illusion and absolute truth of this thing. Well, we have to continue and say all that, right? And in a sense, again, one can apply what Marx says about the inverted. Aren't the Olympian gods an inverted manifestation? You could translate one-to-one the joy to suffering. If my suffering is that, for example, I die, wouldn't my gods be immortal? It's always a one-to-one translation. If my suffering is, I don't know, that I don't have money, wouldn't King Midas or whatever be able to turn anything into gold by taxing it and so on? It's always inverted fantasies in which one inverts one's own suffering into what one imagines to be the redemption out of it, and often the same means show the fallacy in the fantasy. Just as this thing, the myth with in fact it's not King Midas, often it's somebody else. People generally think that it's Midas, who is the guy who turns into gold whatever he touches. Does anybody remember who that is in truth? It doesn't matter. Some character in Greek mythology has this ability, and presumably he's supposed to be good, that he can turn everything he touches into gold. And of course what happens, he goes and touches, I don't remember, his mother, his daughter or whatever, and the person turns into gold. I mean, they show even, the stupidity of the fantasy. They are sometimes self-reflective about the stupidity of the fantasy. Did we finish their line of thought, or am I in the middle of something? I think we covered, and we linked all that. What is the standard misunderstanding in all these cases? Hegel, Marx, and Nietzsche, all these people who try to explain once enlightenment had kicked in, that's precisely what positivism is. The assumption has prevailed that whatever has to do with fantasy is simply stupidity, superstition, or religion. These are the people who try to explain, no, secular thought cannot get rid of the fantasy, or whatever you want, the fantasy, the unconscious, all these terms. That's why they are misunderstood. Because if you are raised in a positivistic discourse, then it becomes difficult to see the gods. So one of my agendas in these classes is to explain that, and why I constantly speak of metaphysics and the relation between religion and secular, whatever. It's not to imagine that secular means reason. I am in control of myself, the end of the story. That's not. And you don't even need, psychoanalysis is the exemplary case of which we can't care, but you don't even need to read psychoanalysis to understand that, even with all this philosophy you begin. My plan for the rest of the time is to go back and try to see connections between all of them, meaning the last three texts were the Romanicist and Nietzsche and Marx. But if you want to discuss more these pages in Nietzsche, I will do that. I want one passage I want to discuss, and this is on the very last page. Left column. So you see there comes on like fifth line, first paragraph, fifth line to the last, the mystery doctrine of tragedy, colon. Jonathan, all right. Do you have it? The mystery, or Maud next to him, do you have it? No? Guess we are on 232. Okay, 232, left column, fifth line to the last. Yes?
The mystery doctrine of tragedy?
Yeah.
The fundamental knowledge of the oneness of everything existent, the conception of individuation as the primal cause of evil, and the art as the joyous hope that the spell of individuation may be broken in the augury of restored oneness.
Okay. So what is he talking about? Here he's telling us, somebody summarize, check out the context and tell us what is the gist here. So we have a recapitulation that, in the last analysis, the world is split in two. The empirical and this, which depends on this. So we end up, start at the beginning of this sentence, said this view of things already provides us with all the elements of a profound and pessimistic view of the world. Our world, moderns, and the same thing as argued about the Greeks, doesn't matter. In truth, we have a very pessimistic view of the world. History is distraction, nature is brutal, individuation, whatever, everything is negative. We suffer. Together, we have that, together with the mystery doctrine of tragedy, which is basically like saying that, together with our Olympian gods. So we have a fundamental knowledge of the oneness of everything existent. This is on this side. the conception of individuation is the primal cause of evil. So we have both the knowledge of this or these, and the conception of individuation is the origin of evil, as what is evil within the empirical world. So everything so far is bad. This thing manifests itself as evil individuation within the empirical world. And on the other hand, what do we have? Art as the joyous hope that the spell of individuation may be broken in augury of a restored oneness. So basically he replicates, so his position about the function of art is art emerges because we are split. On the one hand, we are conscious of this misery, and on the other hand, we are driven by this desire, the Romanticists would have said. This is the desire for oneness. You remember that's how Sue disaster referred to the Romanticists. Is that that? So because we are split between the two, art is that, and it's not that this is simply an illusion. You spelled that out, and this is precisely the real force because of which we don't just commit suicide. So because we are split between the two, we produce art, as he said, that which allows us somehow to experience as a surrogate form that oneness. So that would be the function of art. Now, simultaneously, the reason why I wanted to read, we didn't learn anything new from this passage, we said that already. The reason why I wanted us to read it is simultaneously this passage is also like a kind of summary of aesthetic theory itself. The whole debate of aesthetic theory replicates this split of humanity. Everybody in aesthetic theory, everything is always reduced to either one or individuation. Is it one? And in philosophy, you know, it's not only aesthetic theory. And in philosophy too, the debate is always one or two in the last analysis. And from the okay, so all philosophy and all aesthetic theory either privileges the unity or privileges the multiplicity. And of the theoreticians we have read, or I should finish, either the unity or multiplicity, except there are also some who understand that one must take into account both, like Nietzsche does. He doesn't deny the multiplicity on the contrary. But sometimes he doesn't deny the importance of it, right? Who, let's recapitulate, among the theoreticians we've read, who privileges the multiplicity or individuation, whatever you want to call it, or plurality, at the cost of the unity, who privileges unity at the cost of the multiplicity, and who takes into account both. Including counting this question also Marx, not only aesthetic theories. So you think about it. Start with the monk. What does he privilege? What he doesn't privilege? Paul the man. Yes.
So demand says that, the ironist must constantly,
Potentiate or
Potentiate.
objectified.
so he doesn't have a oneness necessarily.
It's all individuation and self-alienation and ambiguity. And in fact, he reproaches the other side, the simple side, for being naive and yearning for one. So he's very critical of the ones. Yes. Whom should we address next? That was the man. What about Shelley? Makes sense. What is Shelley? Alex, what do you say?
Focuses on both in order to get a nuanced idea of nice,
On both, but when you say both,
both unity and multiplicity.
the multiplicity being represented how? Shelley? I'm asking everybody, not just. Yes, sir.
Multiplicity is represented through that eternal potentiation.
That's the same as in the man, or in the ironies, yes.
But
And then
then-
the unity?
The unity is the unconscious that
Which, because he doesn't use this word I'm using, how does he put it? He doesn't speak of it. Though he does say, we need, well, how does he say, how does he put it? We need at the end, in order to stop this infinite regress, what do we need? A consciousness that is,
Unconscious of itself.
and that it's conscious of everything else, but cannot see itself. See, okay. So, yes, so Schelling takes into account both. Yeah. And so does who else who represented Schelling from the more modern people that we read? Schulze. Nietzsche, what does he do? He does both, he does narrate, okay? He's on both sides, he doesn't speak of eternal potentiation or whatever, he speaks of, here is individuation, which for him is the same thing, the same to objectify yourself and so on. On the other hand, you have oneness, and you have to take into account both. Now what about minds? What about Hegel before we go to Mars? What did Hegel do?
He strives for synthesis.
And oneness, self-consciousness, everything is one. It's pure idealism, and it's very ironic because presumably the materialists are the Marxists and what have you, drew heavily on Hegel. It's one of the most idealistic systems that you have. Okay, so now let's go to Marx. How, since Marx doesn't talk about this thing, how can we infer out of his economic analysis?
Pretty exclusively multiplicity, right?
Why? What is it?
Of this description of the way money and commodities are constituted of it.
I see what you mean, yeah. Is it clear what Alice says to everybody? Yes, right?
But there's still like the surplus we, like think about not all.
All of these things are manifestations of one and the same thing, which is harmless value. So again, in Marx we have both. Is it clear? So don't forget this passage where he very explicitly says, value, which is, he calls the autonomous soul subject in capital, value itself is the autonomous subject which manifests itself in empirical reality, at times as money, at times as commodity, whatever, infinitely, and yet both money and the commodity are the two modes of manifestation of value. This its direct form, and this, so to speak, the disguised form. So basically, I'm almost citing verbatim. Okay, so both are simply manifestations of one and the same thing, and yet simultaneously, this plurality and individuation, whatever you want to call it, is necessary for this thing to exist. So it takes both into account. Yes, nice. This reminds me, I'm planning, so I want to tell you so that you know, I'm planning at the final exam to have a direct question on Marx that will ask you to relate somehow Marx to the rest of the things, okay? Because I didn't have that in the midterm. So that you know one question has to do with Marx. Again, you have a choice. Hey, did you enjoy reading Nietzsche? We are reading Heidegger next week. Yes. That's very nice succession. Nietzsche, Heidegger, Benjamin, Adorno, that's perfect. Who has read the Heidegger? So you know already?